What's up, everybody? I know it's been a minute again. Trying to get more consistent with these, but we haven't had a lot of off days and different things to talk about necessarily. Um, we're playing better-ish, but there's still it's the what's up, everybody. Um, Glad to be talking Braves baseball and Braves first half stuff with you because we are 10 games over 500, and honestly, with the offensive inconsistencies, with the injuries, with the musical chairs in the outfield, and the fifth starter spot, thank God we got off to that 18-6 start, because it's one step forward and a few steps back. Carolina Hurricanes rebuilt their defense nicely today. Just not sure who's going to score all the goals yet, but clearly that's the nature of NHL free agency and kind of learning that. What's up, Charles? For the Braves, you just take the series wins as you get them, 6-1, and 2-1 over the Pirates and Paul Skeens. Again, the offense is still frustrating, just not really doing the little things, and we really have to do the little things given the lack of offensive production. The lack of offensive production I guess not the lack of the, what do you call it? The not expected offensive production, I guess, is a better way to put it. And like Michael Harris II seems to be the glue, because you keep having to use Zach Short, Luke Williams, and Adam Duvall and Orlando Arcia keep coming up in the hugest of situations, and the reality is they're just not. They're not Ronald Acuna Jr. They're not because he's with a guy in the same category as a guy named Shohei Ohtani. He'll be on there as a reserve, but he's not going to start for Marcel. And I love the Josh Green pickup for the Hornets, but unfortunately, I don't think Eddie moves the needle at all. The defense is terrible. I think he does a little bit offensively because he's a lightning in the bottle, but defensively, absolutely not. So we'll probably kick the tires on Eddie Rosario, but I don't really think that moves the needle, in my opinion, but it'll probably happen. It's just because that he's a Hornet. We're not going to bring back Soler. Soler just signed a 3-year, $45 million contract with the Giants. That's not possible. Eddie's possible because he just got designated for assignment with the Nationals to open up a spot for James Wood, the highly touted prospect making his debut tonight for the Nats. Had a base hit in his first at bat. So I think the Nats are closer than ever before, and I think they've executed this rebuild pretty nicely. Bridges is annoying to me. This is the third offseason in a row that he's kind of hung up our plans or whatever we're doing. So I think he needs to make a decision and just yes, no, and figure it out. But for the Braves, I think our bullpen's been incredible. and our pitching's been incredible. The Chris Hill and the Ronaldo Lopez signings have been baller, and obviously that's what's keeping us afloat, because the consistent inconsistency with the offense is maddening. I mean, the 1-0 loss to the Chicago White Sox. I mean, we hit some balls hard, but again, Manfred and the Nerf ball is not helping anything. But there's just a lot of the easier non-competitive outs in the Braves lineup. We still might get Seth Curry. There's still a lot of off-season to go. I've seen Mičić possibly be on the trade block, so there's still a lot of things to figure out for the Charlotte Hornets. Unfortunately, Jock may be a possibility, but again, I think it's too early with so many teams in the wild card, so to speak. It's possibly not. I mean, the Diamondbacks are definitely on the fringe. I think, but you keep going back to the same well. I don't know if you're going to get the same results. Yeah, Reggie Jackson probably will not likely be on our team. But we used 2 of the second-round picks to acquire Josh Green, so I am happy with that. But AJ Minter being back on Tuesday really helps everything out. So that helps. Plus, Grant Holmes and his versatility. Unfortunately, Daysbel Hernandez had to go down for the administrative reasons of Minter coming back, but that just shows you how deep and quality our bullpen is. Having 5 guys with a 3 ERA or less. That's why if we can get a little bit more consistent offense and find lightning in a bottle, yes, it should be better for LaMelo Ball. I will cover all of the Hornets stuff on my other channel. I just haven't got to it yet. I think Spencer has done a heck of a job in the spot that he's been put in. I think the third time through the order, it's just one of those. Third time through the order is the big bugaboo for him right now, and just, yeah, and there's just like 3 or 4 batters a game that kind of bite him, and I think he's still got to develop the ability to not throw as many hittable strikes on 2-strike pitches. I said that Daysbel was sent down to activate Minter yesterday. But I think Spencer has been he's learning on the fly. He's added another pitch. He's doing everything you possibly can. Baptism by fire type of stuff that typically you don't see, especially the lack of experience he has. So I'm very, very pleased with with what Spencer Schwellenbach has been able to give us. If our offense just could be a little bit more consistent in just adding, that's good. Waldrop will be throwing again shortly. Ian Anderson continues to ramp up his recovery. I think he threw 3 innings and 45 pitches with the Augusta Green Jackets the other day. So continues to check those boxes. Could be a dark horse piece for us in the second half. I know we're not built offensively this way, but maybe trying to. You have Forrest Wall who adds the bunt and speed. There's a lot of problems for Orlando. One, he's pressing big time. Two, he's leaning backwards. Schwellenbach is more MLB ready than Hurston Waldrop, but this is the place our rotation is right now. So I think we just gotta live with the growing pains. I'm pretty sure they realized that they didn't want to expose Spencer to it this early, but that's where we are. And for Orlando, I think he's leaning. We could definitely see Nacho, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if the Braves want to expose him this early. And I think it would give us a shot in the arm, but I don't know necessarily if that moves the needle significantly. I would love to see it, but I don't know the whole situation. And for Orlando, I didn't finish my thought. He's leaning out of the batter's box before he swings, so he's not balanced right now. He's kind of completely lost, a bit like Adam Duvall. Unfortunately, right now they're swinging at the invisible baseball, and then when they put a good swing on the ball, it gets caught, it gets robbed on a great web gem play or something like that. They're just kind of in the vicious cycle of ugliness, as I like to say. Unfortunately, but I don't know if we add a little bit more small ball to what we do until we can add something significant in the outfield. That's why I think that Michael Harris II is more of a glue piece than I originally originally tabbed him to be, but it definitely affects the length and versatility in our lineup. And again, nothing against Zach Short or Luke Williams or Forrest Wall, but those guys don't necessarily give you the warm and fuzzies coming up in big situations. And lately, those guys have come up a lot. So I think that ideal needs to be fixed, but the deck of cards is slim, so to speak. What good news are we speaking of, Joseph? I think I covered Minter, Ian Anderson, obviously. Good. So and Michael Harris is hitting and throwing, but not yet began running. So still a ways away for him. Which is unfortunate. But the good news is the Kelnick resurgence. Oh yeah, Hayden Harris, a fan of Braves Anatomy, is crushing it. So that is good. We've got a ton of depth. We got a ton of depth out of the bullpen, and that could be trade depth and or depth we use. We've dipped into that depth more than any of us would have liked to seen, or if that's correct English, but it is what it is. And we've done a nice job of treading water and keeping our head above water and just hoping that and I like I mentioned earlier, you add more small ball? I don't think you can. Because just not where it's just not where we're just not built that way, so and it's just not how we do things, but we do have to get better at the runner at third and less than 2 outs and the sacrifice flies and all of that stuff. And like I said, the deck of cards is thin. That's why the Nacho Alvarez thing is interesting. And we've seen that Alex Anthopoulos really doesn't care about service time. And that could definitely happen. Oh, we're fine. I mean, we can beat anybody on any given day, and they can beat us. I mean, it's just because it's a little different than years past because our offense is so inconsistent, and I feel like that's all I've said in this live so far, but that's just the reality of where we are. We stack up fine against anybody, especially at home. James Wood did get his first hit. I saw that. So I think we stack up against any team pretty well. It's just whether our offense will find its footing. But again, when you have to use Ramon Liriano and then Ramon Liriano starts doing good and then gets a back issue, and then you got to use Zach Short and you got to use. But I will give Zach Short credit. He gives you really good deep at bats. They just don't doesn't have a ton of power. Yeah, Kelnick in the leadoff spot, it has been probably the brightest of anything that's happened with all these injuries and all of these unfortunate uncontrollable things. Jared Kelnick and his resurgence, and to realize that he can be an everyday player and hold his own against lefties is again the best thing that has come out of having to shuffle the deck as much as we've had to. And that's why I keep saying being 10 games over 500 is probably the best thing you could hope for given everything. the offensive struggles before Ronald got hurt and before Michael got hurt, and then after, it's basically Kelnick doing that to Skeen's fastball was very, 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 very impressive. It was great to see. The fire is what we need. And hopefully some other guys. I mean, Orlando was great in March and April. So, yes, the game will be on Valley tomorrow. The Philly series, only one of them will be on Valley, but all 3 games, I believe, of the Giants series are on Valley. So that's good. Yeah, that was a great recovery, considering he was mad that he threw the wild pitch, and then be able to pivot and be able to get there, and perfect bounce off the brick. So that was great as well. I have no idea about the TV rights and all that jazz. I've never known. I think something like that happened, but I'm not sure exactly how that went down or anything. But I think the Braves are in as best spot as they possibly could be. And like I continue to say, that the cards are what the cards are, and that's all we got for now. And the 40-man roster's full, so if we were going to make some sort of move, it's just not going to happen right now with so many people in playoff spots and in the wild card race. It is what it is. So, well, as long as I don't think I love Tom, but I wouldn't call humor his best quality, but he does have some quips. As long as it's not a bullpen game, the Braves have a shot. We're absolutely terrible at bullpen games. For whatever reason. So, I think we might do some shuffling in the rotation. I know it's supposed to be Ronaldo Lopez, Chris Sale, but with the Phillies coming into town, we may try to shuffle it in some way. I don't mind bullpen games when our bullpen does them. I don't like facing bullpen games because we can't hit them. So, but at least we're not in the same spot the Cubs are, and I mean we're still solidly in a wild card spot, and who knows what could happen in the second half. Guys get breathers, guys figure things out. Obviously, I think a lot of our pitchers will go, but hopefully they won't pitch, or if they do pitch, it won't be Yeah, Chris Sale definitely has a shot at the Cy Young. Chris Sale, Max Fried, all those guys. Chris Sale probably more so, but yeah, a lot of our guys definitely have a chance. For sure. That they've been a godsend. And listen, Alex Anthopoulos can't control injuries, but his offseason signings have been amazing. And obviously last year was an anomaly, but you would just like um, our offensive stalwarts to kind of pick it up to a normal to the baseline of the level, and I think our offense would be a little bit more consistent. But you can never tell in a baseball season what's going to happen because every season's new and every season's different. I mean, every single player on our team had a career year, and now it's just kind of regressing back to the mean for like guys like Orlando Arcia. Adam Duvall is getting up there in age, and it's just been unspeakably struggle this year, and you can't really measure that. You just gotta keep grinding, and I don't think we play different. I think we play to what we have. So I don't know. I don't know about different. I think it's like none of us were complaining about when we were 18-6. Everything was going great and everything. Nobody was complaining about the style of play. I mean, all you can do is hit the ball and hit the ball hard, and we've done that a lot this year, and not gotten the results. So I don't think we play different. I think we just haven't got the results, the baseballs, and just guys struggling more than they have in years past. It's kind of that simple, and like I said, we're still in a really good spot. Have a good week or so before the All-Star break, 13 games, whatever it is. See where you are. Because the reality, I think the baseball is definitely different, and the reality is that's not going to change. And you can't change your approach. You can change your approach for situations, but you're not going to drastically change what made you get to the major leagues. Like all you can do is hit the ball hard, and the rest take care of itself. I think I've been a broken record with the old Troy Gloss, you're a producer, not a director quote, because that's the reality. And the reality is many teams wouldn't be able to sustain losing a Cy Young candidate and a perennial MVP, and still have their head above water, and that's where we are. It may be hair pulling and nail chewing at times with the inconsistencies. But baseball's hard, um, and I think we kind of got spoiled the last 4 or 5 years. That well, I mean, 2021 was maddening as well, but we've kind of gotten spoiled in that we made everything kind of look really easy, and it's not that. And you can't if you can control injuries, everybody would try. So, and you try to, things happen, and you gotta pivot, and you gotta just keep moving forward. And the Braves have done the best they can with it, and I hope we're able to get some reinforcements and new cards in the deck for Brian Snitker to be able to have a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more options like he did earlier in the season. And so, and we just know that there's probably going to be more pitchers duels, and there has been for us, and that's why the little things have to be executed, and we just have to find a way. And we've done a heck of a job of that at home. And that's what you want to do, play over 500 baseball at home and near 500 baseball on the road. And we just need a 8 out of 10 stretch and just to feel good. Some multiple 5. Yeah, Grandal's ball. But that was a good running catch by Kelenic, and I think Kelenic's versatility in his success in the leadoff spot. Obviously, I think when Ronald comes back, you're going to slate him there, but you could have Ronald second and Kelenic first if you really wanted to do that. And that just opens up different options for the Braves going down the road. And obviously, Ronald's still recovering, but he's out of his boot and doing some deep gym stuff. I just hope his mental state is good. But sorry for I don't know why the lighting does that. Yeah, the Grandal ball felt like it was going to go in the gap and I was going to be sad, but again, like the idea, our defense has been amazing for the most part. There's been a rough stretch here or there. We just got to execute the little things a lot better and just hope somebody different goes on a hot streak and just keep winning series. But I think that's all I have. I know it was a short one, but as always, go Braves. Champions forever. Hit that like button. Excuse me. Hit that subscribe button. Helps out a lot. Thanks, guys. Who knows? I may be back very soon.